No reason to be embarrassed. You were the victim. The ones that should be ashamed are the ones that victimized you. But I'm saying that because it's a huge problem, and there are people that are followers of Jesus Christ. We know that the devil has attacked you in some way, shape, or form. And God will always send messengers or a messenger to tell you, to coach you through the steps of healing, and to tell you what the first step you need to do is come to Jesus. The second step, you need to go to a professional counseling, and you need to put yourself in therapy. Okay, and I may come back at a later date with a conference regarding how to handle that situation, or what I feel God gave to me. Of course, I wouldn't dare try to, how could I put it, tell somebody what to do, and I haven't walked their shoes, But if Father gives me information or provides an intellect for me to convey a message to whoever the masses are out there that needs to hear it, I'm going to speak it, because it's healing words. Father will always send words of healing, okay? But anyway, getting back to these so-called parents, first of all, they don't deserve the children that they had. Criminal charges need to be brought up against the parents of any child that was violated in that industry, because they placed their children in the hands of rapists, knowing what could happen, and turned a blind eye all for money and greed and fame. And I understand a lot of people that put their children in harm's way, a lot of them are probably not even here anymore. So God will deal with them on the other side, because God is a God of justice and liberty, and God is loyal. But as for the ones that are still here in the 3D, they need to be standing before a judge in a courtroom being charged just like the ones that violated their children are. Because I look at it this way. They're pimps. They pimp their children out. So if somebody will arrest a prostitute and arrest her pimp, then why aren't you arresting these pimps that are called parents? Oh my gosh. Who am I talking to out there? Something needs to be done. Laws need to be created. Laws need to be established to protect these children. And people need to stop putting their children in that industry. I don't care what kind of talent your child has. It is not worth your child's life being destroyed for the rest of their life, and them having psychological and emotional issues because of what happened to them. You don't know what these children, who are now, many of them are adults now, are going through at night, at home, by themselves, being tormented by what happened to them, and secretly probably holding hate and animosity towards their parents for even allowing them in that industry. Or if you're going to, and let me tell you something, it's not that a pedophile may not be in every workplace, but we know they are in the music industry. So people just continuously put their children in harm's way, all because the parent wants money. That's somebody who does not love their child. I don't care what nobody says. Any parent that deliberately puts their child in harm's way does for money, fortune, and fame. They don't love their children. It's a business setup for them. It's a business deal for them. Their children are business deals. I'm telling you, there's no way in the world that somebody can love their child and place their child in the hand deliberately of a pedophile and of a rapist. And a lot of these parents, you don't see them speaking out because they're probably ashamed. Because the whole world knows they're trash for what they did to their children, or allowed to happen to their children, while turning a blind eye. And they're still turning a blind eye, if you ask me, because I haven't heard talk of one coming up front for an interview to talk about what happened to their child and try to seek criminal charges against the rapists and the pedophiles that violated their children. Any parent that does not go to war for their child, you're not a parent. You're not fit to be a parent. You're not worthy to carry the title of mother nor father. You should be put under the jail, under the prison for life, because you allowed your child's life to be destroyed for the rest of their life. Unless there's divine intervention, and God is a God of restoration and can restore them back to who they're supposed to be. I knew, and this is not to nobody, because I don't judge nobody. Of course, I'm going to side with God, but I'm saying I personally am not going to pass judgment on nobody, because all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. But I knew something was up with so many of these men out here being turned on to homosexuality and to one another, and or being on the down low or whatever, because the thing about it is, and it's a touchy matter, it's a touchy issue, because to be honest, I don't think anybody would deliberately choose to be that way. I think I've even heard people that are of a person that is that way say they would never choose to be that way. That's just who they are. But I knew, I'm like, something is up. And you guys, and then I noticed there was no Friday and Saturday date night. And me and a couple of ladies, even years ago in a workplace I used to be in, we had been noticed that the behavior of men had shifted towards women. And I think there was a woman that I worked with. Either she said it or I said it, but I think she said it. She said something like, they don't even look at you no more, or something like that. And this was a long time ago, y'all, in a workplace, a place I used to work at. And she said, they don't even look at you no more. And so women, of course, if you are a woman, you're going to know if a man is not conducting himself and behaving like a man. Any man that doesn't look at a woman is because he's looking at another man. But a lot of women have known this for years. Let me tell you guys something. One of my favorite TV shows used to be Living Single. And I really I like all the characters on the show. And let me tell you, but there was the character, I think her name was, I should know as much as I used to watch the show. I used to make sure I was in front of the TV when the show came on. Regine. I think it was Regine. And anytime a man would not look at Regine, I think Regine would say he was gay or something like that. And okay, y'all, this is no disrespect to nobody out there that's gay, so don't come for me, okay? You do what you want to do. I ain't God, okay? But this is what I'm saying. And she, or something like that, she would say. Now, anybody else that wasn't in the know would have thought that she was being conceited in her statement, like, oh, well, if a man don't look at me, he must be gay, da-da-da. But look, let me tell y'all something. The character of Regine, she was right. Because a man's primary affection after God is a woman. That's how men were created. Meaning Eve is like she is the rib that was taken from Adam's side. So that's that natural attraction there. You know what I'm saying? The part of him that's missing. So, he's attracted to, I feel like, you don't have to agree with me, but that forms the attraction. You know what I'm saying? Because the woman was taken out of the man. So that's for the brothers not to sweat a woman. See, y'all, you know what? I'm not used to men that don't fawn all over women, because I remember how it was back in the day, how the dudes used to be. I'm talking about, they would approach you, ask you out, do you have a man, this and the third. Even if you rejected them, they didn't come back and try to kill you or none, to my knowledge. They would just go on to the next female, they be okay, whatever, da da da. But I knew something was up when I didn't see no pursuits in them. And you would see young girls out there, and the dudes weren't trying to holler at them. But then when they saw one another, they act like you just giving them a Christmas gift or something, like, hey man, they were so excited to see one another. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, that's not a man's primary affection. A man's primary affection after God is a woman. So as a woman, I knew something was up, And then there was a talk show where this man came out. I can't think of his name, but then he started exposing men, particularly black men, being on the DL. Because from what I understood, the doctors couldn't understand why so many black women were coming up with HIV and AIDS. And as it turned out, a lot of these men were living these undercover lives. But what's done in the dark won't come to the light, because God Almighty is going to shine light on it. He's going to allow the light to be shined on it, because Satan always tries to do his dirt in the dark, And these men that, deliberately infected these women, they don't love those women. I don't care if it's their own wife. You don't love nobody that you deliberately infect with an incurable disease or any kind of disease. You don't love that person. You don't care about them. You don't care about their health, their life, their well-being. You don't care about anything as it pertains to them. So